effective, that's for sure. You know, I'm getting a little better with it, but it was 17 and a half years.
Yeah, been through that a few times myself.
Yeah. Well, I figured you'd all that.
Yeah.
11 o'clock.
I gotta wait till everybody's here, you know, we gotta make sure. Councilor Nave.
He's like, oh, 88.
Councilor Nave, let's get this started, folks.
Formula all the way down.
To the,
No, well, Nader's got it. So, for, yeah.
Hi.
well, just move that over if you want to, whatever you want to do, Patrona. You can sit next to me.
SURA technically has 3 funds. So she does is really all of this stuff that was the bills for SURA, and then all the salary stuff like that. It's in your signing as well.
So that's, got it.
Okay, I'd like to get this started. We're running a little late today. This meeting will be chaired by me. Councilor Williams won't be here for this meeting. So we have doing the budget on SURA, Syracuse Urban Renewal Agency, and I have Commissioner Collins, Commissioner Canizero here. Why don't we start with just giving us a little overview on how you use SURA and how important it is for the city operations.
Yeah, so the SURA budget package, as you'll notice, you didn't get the budget book. It's a little bit different.
Now, where are we in the budget book on this?
SURA is not in the budget
It's
book.
not there, okay, it's outside here.
Yep.
It's this one. The one he just gave us.
Yes, we just got it, okay. Now I think I got it together. Go on, Commissioner.
So SURA was incorporated in 1962 and operates under a 3-member board consisting of the elected mayor, the president of the Common Council, and the Commissioner of Finance of the City of Syracuse. SURA is a public benefit corporation that receives local capital grants for the redevelopment of land in the City of Syracuse. And then SURA is considered a blended component unit of the City of Syracuse. So on the city financial statements, if you skim all the way to the back, page 99, page 100, you'd see it embedded in there. And this is accounted for as a special revenue governmental fund. Under a cooperation agreement between SURA and the city provides SURA assistance in the form of administrative, personal, legal, and fiscal services in order to carry out urban renewal projects. So really, you can kind of view SURA employees as, contracted out employees that, are working in the operating department. So, this listing of employees and these totals here don't tie directly to the budget books, but the GL account in the budget book under operating departments, it's number 541700. It's called Contracted Services Related Parties. So if you see that, account in the operating department, that means there are SURA employees in that department.
So it's ensconced in a budget line in each department? Is that how it works, or what, as far as the monies? I mean, the monies that go out from our revenue that goes to different city departments.
Yes.
Is,
so if
is
you
that
were-
in is it the same line in every department?
Yes, it should be.
And what line is that?
541700.
Okay. And
And
that
it's-
would show up in this book, obviously,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
So it is in the book. It's just not-
Indirectly, yeah.
It's just, we need the key code to find out what
Yep.
it is, right? 54170?
Yep, 700, yep, 541700.
Okay, good. Go on, Commissioner.
So really, the head count at the end of '24 was 88 employees. Sorry for I sent a revised page. If you have 70 on the second page of the budget package here, that was incorrect. It's 88. We eliminated 9 positions, so that's either they moved over to the city budget or we actually eliminated the position. 9 positions were created. We're proposing 9 created positions in the proposed budget. So the head count will remain flat at 88. And those numbers do not account for any part-time employees that are kind of on that individual job title listing, which is pages 3, 4, and 5 of the budget package. So those would be the part-time police and fire cadets, the credible messengers, or any part-time summer aides.
So the reimbursement, now just if you could, we go over this a little bit, just so we understand it here as far as the first page of this.
Yeah, so for the revolving fund, that's really that's most of where the activity, I mean, within SURA, there are actually 3 smaller funds that roll up to SURA. So any, I think the property inventory, that type of work would really fall under that New York Assistance Fund, whereas all of the labor payroll costs are really in that revolving fund. So you can see, the $9,023,000, those are our total revenues, total expenses, $9,023,000. So 8.3 million of that 9 million will be coming from the city, through a variety, some general fund and then a variety of grants. And then that 716,000, those will be reimbursements from SIDA and SEDCO.
Okay. I'm a little puzzled. When you say when it's termed a revolving fund, there are monies that come from different entities besides the money that comes from the city, correct?
Yes, and as far as on the city's books, we would have, your CDBG grant reimbursements. None of that information is on, none of those revenues are recorded on SURA. Those would all be recorded on the city.
Okay, so I know the commissioner, I don't know if you started this or not, but you did start like charging sort of a management of a fee, not a fee, on your grants. You're charging the administrative costs, right?
So, correct, Counselor. We collect for all of the grants that we're able to, the HUD entitlement grants certainly being the ones that we've done that long time, done this for a long time with. We max out the administrative capacity that we're allowed
So
to on it.
we hit the level we're supposed to hit, which we didn't do all the time, correct, years ago or not?
So for as long as I've been here for 4 years now, what I inherited was a history of doing that. So that's
Okay.
not something that I created. It's been ongoing. I couldn't tell you when that
That's
started.
common practice, Steve.
It's common practice within neighborhood business development to be able to pull at,
Across the board with everybody, it's a
Ab-
common practice,
yeah.
charging for administrative fee, okay.
Yep.
Okay. Are there any questions here from my fellow counselors on any of these issues? Okay, maybe let's go on with like the importance as far as having this way of paying for city personnel, which gives us more flexibility and allows us to be nimble in dealing with some of the programs.
So, councilors, I think another example, actually, just to lead off of the other funds that go into this. So, the public authorities, SEDCO, SIDA, they support positions as well. But the work that is done for so much of what you see, really all the positions that you see within the line item for employee positions, is work that doesn't have a civil service direct match to it. You all see our neighborhood planners when they are at the community meetings that that we all attend. That type of position is the type of position that flexes their work depending on what the needs of the community are for that time period. And so if we're there's not a civil service position that ties directly to that, but we need really strong community engagement, and so that's why we have those positions on the SURA budget. You'll see that with so many of the positions that have to do with economic development, that have to do with housing, where what we need are flexible positions that are able to meet the current needs. And that work today looks different than it did 5 years ago, and we expect to look different 5 years from now. Probably not as we don't expect the drastic changes that we saw through 2020, 21 in response to community need, but this allows us to have that flexibility and make sure that we're doing what the city is asking us to do.
Well, just from personal experience as being a city councilor, seeing that personnel at those neighborhood meetings is really important. And a lot of them, the longer they go to those meetings, the more they're in tune with what the neighborhood needs.
Exactly.
And so they are a critical piece. I understand having been, deputy commissioner of the city department, how important it is to have people that you're able to hire, and, civil service sometimes doesn't align with the aims of the department. That's all there
And
is to it.
and that's the whole
It's
point.
not bad for civil, it's just the way it is, because you have an evolving, strategy on how to deal with city issues, so.
And to that point, Counselor, I know when I started 2 years into Mayor Walsh's administration, there had already been an effort to move the positions that were on the SURA budget that did have a civil service match into those positions and move them off of the SURA line and into the city. So, we know several years ago there was 200 or more SURA
Right.
employees. Now being well below 100 for multiple years, it's really because we've focused on what are the appropriate positions for this.
And I think, obviously, there's specific duties that they have to take care of, and, I think, just looking through this whole personnel sheet, I don't see a particular issue, if anything, because I've dealt with a lot of these folks before. And a lot of times I've depended on them for answers that maybe I wouldn't be able to get otherwise. So, if there any questions for me?
Yes, yes.
Come on, Counselor.
So I want to go back to your second sheet here.
Yep.
And it says there are 15 part-time police cadets, and then under that, there are 27 part-time police and fire. Could you break that down for me?
Yeah, so the part-time police cadets, there are 15. Fire cadets, part-time fire cadets, there are 3.
3?
3.
Okay.
There are 3 credible messengers, and I believe 6 summer aides.
What? Yeah.
Police cadets were there, Deputy Mayor Sharon Owens, the police cadets were there last year, loved the program, want to continue it. The fire department, those 3 are new. So if you remember, there's a program at PSLA Fowler, and we have 3 individuals graduating. And the fire department wants to provide them an opportunity to continue to work with the fire department.
keep
So
up,
we
yeah,
included those 3 positions.
Okay. Another question I have, thank you for Commissioner. Another question I have is the part-time summer aide at NBD, Commissioner Collins,
Yeah.
what do they do?
So these are our paid interns that staff specific projects. So we've got this is the 5th year of our con plan for our consolidated plan for CDBG.
plan?
So the CDBG 5-year plan, it's time for us to write the new one. So there'll be some staffing support on that so that it can be as thorough as possible. But they are plugged in on special projects throughout code enforcement, business development, neighborhood development, and now also planning and sustainability. There's $35,000 in the budget. It's one of those big bang for the buck kind of positions because you've got college kids that are really they're geeking out on the work that we do, and since they're on the payroll, they're really committed to it as well. It's not just that they have to get their hours in for the class, which is important, but it's a different level of commitment to the work.
Are the credible messengers and summer aides included in that number, or this is additional
In the 27 or in the summer aids?
in the 27?
I believe all
The
of them
credible
are.
messengers are in that 27.
They are, oh, okay. And the aides too, the summer aides?
Yep.
And then those monies are all from the city, correct?
Right.
The summer aids are, we've got a proposed $35,000 within there. Not sure about the other ones.
I mean, but that's part of the anti-violence program, right?
The summer aids are not, the credible messengers are.
Incredible messengers are.
Council Rouser, did you?
I just asked it, where it says program flow, is that just an individual that is, that's not a program itself,
So program,
float?
I'm trying to share the mic here. Let me, Show me where you're looking if you'd be so kind. Oh, the code program float. So that is, it's a position, it is a full-time position. It does, the idea of the float is the fact that we're able to assign where we've got
Yeah, we
a
need it.
spike.
Okay, all
Yes.
So with all of that, all of these, the 27 part-time, the 15, they are all in the 88, Commissioner? 88 position that you said, are they all in here or are they separate?
No, if you wanted to, include that 27,
Yeah.
so then we're, looking at a total head count, including part-time of 115,
115,
including the part-time employees.
that's it, that's including these.
Yep.
Exactly.
Just for the sake of, I don't know if this means anything, but the cadet, how many hours do they do? 20 hours?
That's what fire is gonna do. Police can, you can ask that question for police. They have a whole program. So the folks that you would see downstairs with those blue shirts on, they work for that.
And the police cadet salary line is budgeted at 29 hours a week, so that would be the maximum for a part-time employee.
So how many vacancies are there in the 25 positions?
That's a great question. I would have to open up.
City councilors love hearing that. That's a great question. No, I know, I'm over, I'm beating you 1-0, you know. The answer-
I don't want to sit here and count it in front of you. I can provide you that number pretty easily after
It's,
our meeting.
and I know these positions have to move around, somebody, you haven't found the right person to fit the, but, if we could have that, because I know it's like, obviously, you didn't hire the police cadets were, they just started, correct? Yeah, so that's it, okay.
Yeah,
But I'm thinking about the CDBG program coordinator, I guess that's a vacancy, right? Something like
so
that.
that's a vacancy, but we've just filled it. They haven't started yet.
And they're not on the sheet yet.
So they're
huh?
not, so it's listed as vacant. We did just have our home program administrator, first day on the job is 2 hours ago. So it's think of it as a bit of a living document that way.
That's the same person.
Home is one person, CDBG is another.
All right. And lead,
So lead, we've got, there's 2 vacancies right now that are being temporarily filled for the, on the code side. On the remediation side, that position is filled.
So, Commissioner, so who would be able to, who searches out grants that could supplement our city monies? How much in grants and how much in city money for the SURA program? Did you say
On the second page,
was like $3 million city money, something like that?
yeah, of the and the personnel costs is kind of a fully loaded, so that would include, fringe and benefits. For 25, we're projecting about 6.7 million general fund, 154,000 in the water fund, 100,000 in the sewer fund. City grants, so that would be inclusive of CDBG, ESG, home, and some ARPA monies for the first half of the year. That totals 1.3 million, and then side and SEDCO, 716,000.
So the last two would be, well, sewer fund, obviously, water fund doesn't affect our bottom line. So the last 4 items would be monies that aren't necessarily city revenue.
Non-general fund, yeah.
Non-general fund, okay.
So, councilors, to your question about who seeks out the grants, there's a couple things to keep in mind about this. One is when we look at the fact that there's a drop from 24 to 25, throughout 2024, we've been still spending down on the CDBG CV funds, the ESG CV funds, some of the ARPA, and those funds have expired. We've run through them. But this is reflective of the admin that we pull rather than the full grant.
Right.
Grants are sought out within NBD by division and collectively. So Downtown Revitalization Initiative was a $10 million that came through Deputy Commissioner Eric Ennis's team. The $30 million that we will be subawarded through New York State DOT as part of that massive $180 million grant related to 81, was a combination of Sarah Walton from Neighborhood Development and Joe Driscoll working with DOT. Variety of other, we're just kind of always looking for grant opportunities. Owen Kearney is got multiple grants that he's managing right now as well related to planning.
Well, obviously, anything we get to supplement this, but, and you approve, I mean, you sort of like oversee all the grants when they go in, so we don't get a situation where we got competition within the department for the same type of grant.
So from a grants management standpoint, is that what you're asking? Yeah. So we have a dedicated neighborhood grants team that manages those grants, and so those positions are on here. So Tanya Eastman is the director of that
Who's a
team.
new hire, right?
So she's been a newer hire, yes,
Yeah.
new within the last several months.
Yeah, my big worry is always sometimes some disjointed efforts by different departments to get grants, and us putting ourselves in competition with each other sometimes.
Yeah, so I will say in my time here that I've never run into that. There's really good communication between the research department in our department. Certainly, mayor and deputy mayor, we're always bringing things up to them. They're making sure that we're aware of something that might not otherwise be on our radar.
I just worry, not so much our doing it. I mean, our people being creative and putting grants together. It's more like where they end up, like especially in some sort of grant. You know what I'm talking about, like
Yeah.
something like an Allen Foundation or somebody like that. All of a sudden, you got 3 grants from the city. 3 requests for monies.
It flows up to senior staff, so we make sure that
Okay.
the Allen Foundation
So
isn't
it's up to
getting.
you, Deputy Mayor. Yeah.
It's up to all of us.
Yeah.
To make sure that we're not doing what you're talking about, particularly for local philanthropic money. The city does not
The
want to be.
national ones, I
Yeah.
mean, that's the thing. I sort of, that's sort of a concern of mine that we got, we might be competing against each other if we don't have that
Right.
coordination in the departments.
Right. Something just came through from the Bureau of Justice Administration, and I sent it to Mark Russin around diversionary response. I included Janet in the email because she should know everything that people are pursuing.
Right.
And I always email Janet to say, hey, because you're looking all the time, this is something where this is a need we have. If something comes across your desk, let us know.
Right. Okay, thanks, Deputy Mayor.
My next question is more of like a Director Rudd question. Director Rudd? Yes, please. So it's more of like, it's very elementary and I just need clarification. So far in the last 2 days, we have seen position from this department and this department, and they're all, like for example, the storytelling position with communication. We saw it yesterday in the communication budget. It is in here as well.
Sir,
What's
they
that
all-
like without creating duplications?
They all show up on the department, and then it's paid in the contractual line that he was describing to Councilor Hogan, that 417. So that matches the amount, and then it shows up here. So he's kind of like reconciling it, so it has to show up in both places. So he's giving you basically the citywide list. These are all the SURA employees, and he's giving you the department. So you would look in the department for those respective amounts in the.
If I'm seeing communication budget, for example, has $1 million, and SURA budget is $1 million, at the back end somehow is reconciled that we are not duplicating the same position, tries to call for $2 million? Is that-
Right, we're not duplicating it.
Okay. Because for some of us that don't look at money all the time, it's a concern, and it gets confusing.
Well, that's,
Communications budget, you saw a professional service line.
Right.
That's where that person is.
Okay.
That person is SURA staff person, but getting paid out of.
Okay.
which I
okay.
think is why he's passing out things that are not in the budget book, because they're already in the budget book in the department. He's just adding them all together in one place so you could see them for practicality now. Fair?
Yeah, no, and just to touch upon, I mean, this is a slightly different report format than prior year. My predecessor, had fiscal year '23 positions, and then he lumped fiscal year '24 positions underneath. So there really wasn't a good year-over-year comparison, and with our limited system capabilities, this took about 20 hours of heads down work. I mean, in AS 400. I mean, trying to map these positions shouldn't be this difficult. But no, this was reviewed. I mean, I reviewed it with Deputy Mayor, with Commissioner Collins. So we're fairly confident we're not duplicating positions. But with AS 400, I mean, there are definitely hiccups.
Counselor Williams, do you have the handout that they?
I received it via email. Same one.
You got it before we got it?
And that
What's the deal
there was
with
a revised second page. I had the head count, there was an Excel formula in the file due to the manual nature of the budget package.
it? Former Counselor Maroon's on it. Okay.
And like I see the permits director. That's
So you
been,
are looking, Director of Permits, yes. So I'm sorry, now I'm with you.
is that vacant since Brandy, or is that recent?
So that is in FY '24, and then if you come over to FY '25, you'll see that Eli is in that position. So this is last
Yeah,
year.
yeah.
Yep, and then
Oh, okay,
over
okay.
here, and that's our
Okay.
director right there.
Okay, all right. Oh, yeah, because I've spoken to
In particular for codes and planning, now we're hiring and backfilling. Jake was promoted, Ryan was promoted, so we need to backfill those positions now that we're bringing everything in-house around zoning, permitting, and planning.
Okay,
Just one more question.
sure,
The,
oh, no, I'm sorry, Counselor, I didn't know you
You
were.
said that the cadets, is there 3 current, or is there 6?
So there are 15 police. They're carryover from, the positions are a carryover from the previous year. There are 3 new positions for fire.
Okay,
And that's out of us meeting with PSLA and having 3 young people who really want to continue on, but they're not old enough yet. Yeah.
Any further questions from the council? I'd like to thank you, both you commissioners. Oh, you got a question there, Councilor?
Not a
Maroon?
question, just in all my years of being here, this is the best description of SURA that we've ever had. So I want to thank you for it as well.
That's, Commissioner,
That's high praise.
yeah,
Well,
yeah, that's real high praise. Commissioner Canizaro's father used to guide me at the Parks Department, so I appreciate that. Putting everything together as far as the monies go is sometimes daunting, especially when we only got this book on Monday, so. Anyways, if there's no more other questions, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Okay, second?
Second.
Okay, we're adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so you were telling me that